All right, let's cut across to our panelists this evening. Lots of questions that are being raised. Is the opposition now going to come together, especially when it comes down to the caste census, make it a rallying point going ahead for elections 2024? And why is it that the government is deterring from holding a caste census? With the caste census, if it takes place at all, will it reveal fault lines in India's caste metric system, which could possibly be unfavorable to the BJP? Is the BJP somewhere down the line in a catch-22 situation here? Let's take it to our panelists this evening. Joining me is Manoj Jha, Rajya Sabha MP, Rahul Srivastav, National Affairs Editor, India Today TV, Sanjay Kumar, Co-Director, Lok Niti, CSTS, and Psophologist. Cutting across to Manoj Jha first. Manoj Jha, you know, not as a politician, not as a Rajya Sabha member representing your political party, I want to ask you, as an academic, as a professor, what about merit? I'm sure a lot of students ask you. In this day and age where ultimately Baba Sahib Ambedkar had envisioned a casteless India, we are once again looking for a caste census which will be pro-reservation again.
You know, your question has 3-4 questions, and almost all the questions have a different trajectory altogether. But as somebody who understands sociology, who teaches social work in Delhi University, I can tell you, for any government initiative, for any governance structure, for any bureaucratic endeavor to reach to the catchment area, you need scientific data. Why do we need scientific data? 1931 was the last caste census held. Subsequently, Pakistan and Bangladesh, which were part of till 1931, they are different entities now. So the data which BP Mandal Commission collected and collated subsequently, it reached 52% of the population of OBC. It could be more, because that was a calculation broadly drawn from 1931. Having said that, then the reservation was reduced only to 27% because the ceiling was, according to Indira Sahni judgment and a couple of more judgment, on 50%. Now with EWS reservation, Honorable Supreme Court has said 50% is no more sacrosanct. So in order to look at the broader contours of deepening of democracy, it is in the fitness of things that you ensure representation. That's why the demand is not only from Bihar. Bihar is already ahead with caste survey. It's in almost every state. People are demanding, because the overall representation of marginalized community is 7 to 10%.
But Mr. Jha, you know, India's political social history stands testimony to the fact that reservation on the basis of caste hasn't quite entirely helped the upliftment of any particular caste. It's only but created a creamy layer within that particular caste. And you would admit that.
You know something, I must tell you historically, already amongst OBC there is a creamy layer. Now the government of India appointed Rohini Commission to look at the sub-categorization of OBC communities. Interestingly, the commission has been given more than 23 extensions. You know, the problem is that sub-categorization shall only be scientific, shall only be feasible and doable once you have the data. You are actually looking for a scheme of division of things of an apple by Rohini Commission without knowing the size of the apple, what all constitute in that apple. So first you need to have that data, then issues of categorization, sub-categorization come. I mean the government is completely confused, because you know this government actually has no blueprint with regard to social justice. And I'm saying this on record, because if you look at the answers they give in the parliament, the answers are in themselves. They tell you that the wisdom index of this government on these issues is practically zero.
But Mr. Jha, you know, you talk about social justice. Many would say in this day and age, the true social justice is if you give reservation on the basis of economic disparity, where you give reservation on the basis of EWS, economically weaker sections. So hold a census on EWS was what many would suggest. Many who are Brahmins, the proverbial upper caste, are very poor. Many would suggest that in this day and age, poverty has no caste.
I tell you, I wish, I'm sorry to say, I wish I was in a class where I could have taken, I have been talking about these things. I'll tell you that there is established fact that I agree. There are instances of poverty even in so-called upper caste, but their poverty does not derive from their caste background. Whereas the poverty amongst marginalized communities, whether it is SC, ST and OBC, they have a direct relation, just what we call correlation with the caste background. Otherwise, how it happens that in the caste ladder, which is based on hierarchy and pollution and purity, higher you go, lesser instance of poverty you find. Lower you go, you find poverty in abundance. So this is very clear sociologically, anthropologically. The only thing is that many people think that poverty knows no caste. So sorry, ma'am. Poverty knows caste. It has maximum address, maximum concentration amongst the subaltern communities which constitute OBC, SC and ST.